What's up, guys? All right, just want to take a quick moment to talk about the camera setup that I'm using on Corner Balance. Some of you guys might be interested in exactly what is being used. So at the top, I have a Rode Video Micro, and the camera itself is a Sony A6300 mirrorless camera with a small rig cage around it. And then the gimbal is a Zhiyun crane, or however you want to call it. So first, let's cut to the unboxing scene, and then we'll come back to the specs. All right, here's the pile of camera gear that I've amassed for my YouTube setup. So yeah, let's go ahead and unbox all these things. So going back to the SD card, this is a UHS-1 type card. They do make a UHS-2, which is a little bit faster for write speeds. And it's also good if you want to copy your files to your computer quicker. But the A6300 camera that I chose does not support UHS-2, so I decided to just stick with the UHS-1. And we're back. So the lens choice is what I think really makes this package shine. It's a Sony E-mount 35mm f1.8, and you can see from the other Corner Balance videos the type of depth of field and picture quality you get from this package with this lens. So with that depth of field, I think it really enhances the production values and the cinematography that we can do with it. The only downside is it is a little bit cropped in because the A6300 is a crop sensor camera, and I think if this thing was an A7 full frame, it would really, balance out even better. But either way, I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, we just have to stand a little bit further back. I think the amount of crop and zoom that you get from this 35mm prime is almost one-to-one to what your eyesight is in person. So it's manageable, but we just have to be a little bit more mindful about where we position the camera and such. But overall, I think we can make it work. It definitely, the pros definitely outweigh the cons, I think, with this camera or with the lens. And going back to the camera itself, the reason why I chose the 6300, which is at current day an outdated camera, because this is one generation old, and I specifically chose that to save some money to put into the lens, because I was weighing the differences with the new 6500 and the 6300, and basically I decided that it wasn't worthwhile for me to jump to the 6500. So for example, the 6500 has a 5-axis image stabilization built in, and this does not. The 6500 has a touch screen back panel, whatever you want to call it, and this one does not. You have to use the menu buttons. But basically, I didn't need the 5-axis stabilization because I'm using this gimbal. And the touch screen is nice, but it's not something I really need to use that often. So I really try to gear my choice to what my purpose and my use case is, my application of the camera. What else did it have? Also, the 6500 had, I think, far better burst shots for pictures. You can do way more continuous bursts. But this isn't a photography camera for me. It's just purely for this video series. So that didn't really affect me. The menu system is better in the 6500. but you can actually upgrade the firmware of the 6300 and you get the same, menu. So I kind of weighed those different, points, and then that's why I decided to just step back and go with the 6300. I think it's a pretty solid choice. And then yeah, let me know what you guys think. The gimbal is really cool. It's a well-made gimbal, I think. Still takes some getting used to, but it's all metal. It balances out pretty easily, and everything from there is pretty automatic. So good choice, Zhiyun crane. And then I also bought this, as you can see at the bottom, I installed this little attachment tripod, so it's really easy to set this thing down. That's definitely very helpful. And I already mentioned the Rode mic. So the reason why I got the small rig cage around it is because I want to attach this mic. And if you put into the normal hot shoe in the middle, this thing hits the motor right here when it's like tilting. So that's why with this the small rig, you can kind of position and offset, and then it clears completely, which is cool. And one of the problems with the 6300 series in general is that they overheat. And I think the aluminum billet, aluminum small rig cage around it kind of acts as a little bit of a heat sink. So maybe that helps a little bit, but either way, it's a pretty good, useful setup. So yeah, that's my setup. Thanks a lot.